Section 1. The power of living for yourself. Have you ever woken up and realized that you're living a life that doesn't feel like yours? It's like you're walking someone else's path, following a script you didn't write, playing a role that doesn't quite fit. Maybe you've been chasing after the approval of others, or trying to meet expectations that weren't even yours to begin with. And yet, despite all your efforts to please the world around you, something feels missing. That sense of emptiness is more common than you might think. And here's the hard truth. When you live for others, you lose yourself. In a world where social media dictates our every move, where success is often measured by likes and followers, and where the pressure to conform is everywhere, it's easy to forget who you truly are. Your desires, dreams, and passions get buried beneath the noise of external expectations. The worst part? You start believing that this is what life is supposed to be like, that living for others is the norm, the way it's supposed to be, but it doesn't have to be that way. Imagine a life where you make decisions based on what truly matters to you, where every step you take is aligned with your inner desires and authentic self, not with the fear of judgment or the pressure to fit in. What if you could break free from the chains of approval seeking and finally start living on your terms? Here's the powerful truth. You were never meant to live for anyone else but yourself. The world is full of distractions, opinions, and expectations, but the most important thing you can do is silence all of that and listen to your own heart. Only then can you truly begin to reclaim your life. Living for yourself is not a selfish act. It's an act of self-respect and self-love. When you choose to live authentically, you give yourself the freedom to chase your dreams without guilt. You free yourself from the constant need to please others and embrace the beautiful truth that your life is yours to shape. But this freedom doesn't come without its challenges. The truth is, living for yourself often means standing against the tide. It means making choices that others may not understand or support. It means breaking away from the mold of societal expectations and daring to forge your own path, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. The hardest part of living for yourself is realizing that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. But once you come to that realization, the weight of the world lifts off your shoulders. You stop seeking approval, stop worrying about judgment, and start making choices that align with who you really are. So what does it take to begin living for yourself? It starts with a single step: self-awareness. Recognizing that you are not here to live anyone else's version of your life is the first step towards freedom. It's about acknowledging that your dreams, your voice, and your unique path are worth pursuing, no matter how different they may be from what others expect. Living for yourself isn't a destination. It's a journey, one that requires courage, honesty, and self-compassion. But as you step into that journey, you'll discover that the life you were meant to live is far more fulfilling than any life lived for the approval of others. Section 2. The illusion of external validation. Have you ever felt that rush of excitement when you receive a compliment or when someone praises you for something you did? It feels good, right? In a world that constantly tells us how we should look, act, or succeed, that little burst of approval can feel like a temporary lifeline, a momentary affirmation that we're on the right track. But here's the reality. External validation is nothing more than an illusion. We live in a world that thrives on external markers of success: likes, followers, praise from peers, or the approval of our family and friends. We seek these things like they are the keys to happiness, believing that if we can just impress the right people or meet the right expectations, we'll feel truly fulfilled. And for a fleeting moment, we do. But it never lasts. It's always just a brief high that fades away, leaving us chasing the next approval, the next compliment, the next pat on the back. Think about it. How many times have you modified your behavior to fit in, changed your appearance to get noticed? Or maybe you've compromised on your dreams just to meet someone else's idea of success. These actions may bring temporary satisfaction, but they come at a cost. You lose yourself in the process. Here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. The pursuit of external validation traps us in a cycle of never-ending approval seeking. The more we rely on others to define our worth, the more distant we become from our true selves. Each time we look to someone else to measure our value, we forget that our worth is inherent, not dependent on how others see us. But why do we do this? Why do we allow ourselves to be swept up in the opinions of others? It's because we are conditioned to seek validation from the outside world. From a young age, we're taught to look for approval, whether it's from our parents, teachers, or peers. We're socialized to believe that our value lies in how others perceive us, and this belief gets reinforced by society, media, and even our relationships. The problem is, the more we rely on external validation, the more powerless we become. We start to live for others instead of for ourselves. Our happiness becomes conditional, tied to someone else's opinion. And over time, this external focus eats away at our sense of self-worth. So how do we break free from this illusion? It starts by understanding that true validation comes from within. The moment you begin to recognize your own worth, independent of anyone's approval, you start to feel a sense of inner peace that external validation can never provide. You stop measuring your success by someone else's yardstick. It's not easy. It takes time to unlearn years of seeking approval, but it's worth it. Begin by tuning out the noise and focusing on what truly matters to you. Make decisions based on your values, not what you think others will think. Listen to your inner voice, not the voices that tell you who you should be. When you stop seeking validation from others, you'll discover something amazing. You become more confident, more authentic, and more at peace. You realize that your happiness is not in the hands of others, but in your own. And that's the freedom that comes from living for yourself, not for anyone else. Section 3. The fear of rejection. Have you ever held back from doing something you truly wanted because you were afraid of what others might think? Maybe it was a career choice, a creative endeavor, or even a simple decision like speaking your truth in a conversation. That gut-wrenching fear of being rejected, laughed at, or judged can stop you dead in your tracks. The fear of rejection is one of the most powerful forces that keep us from living authentically. But here's the harsh truth. Rejection is a natural part of the journey to owning your life. It's easy to feel paralyzed by the fear of not fitting in, of being cast aside, or of facing criticism. Society has conditioned us to believe that acceptance and approval are the keys to happiness. We've been taught that to succeed, we must align with the norms, follow the crowd, and avoid standing out too much. But here's the thing. Rejection is inevitable when you choose to live for yourself. And that's not just okay, it's essential. Living authentically means making choices based on what feels right to you, even if those choices don't align with what others expect. When you stop living for the approval of others, you're bound to face resistance. Some people might not understand your decisions, your ambitions, or your lifestyle, and guess what? That's completely normal. In fact, it's a sign that you're stepping into your own power and choosing your own path. Think about the trailblazers in history, the artists, the innovators, the leaders who dared to defy the status quo. They all faced rejection. They all encountered critics. But they didn't let those voices define them. They pressed forward, knowing that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the approval of others. Here's the secret. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of someone else's limited perspective. When you choose to live authentically, you may ruffle some feathers. But the rejection you experience is not about you. It's about others' discomfort with change, their inability to see the potential in your choices, or their fear of stepping out of their own comfort zones. It's not about you at all. But how do we handle this fear of rejection? How do we push through when the stakes feel so high? It begins with a simple shift in mindset. Instead of viewing rejection as a failure, start seeing it as a lesson. Every time you face rejection, you grow stronger. You become more resilient. You learn that you are capable of standing tall in the face of discomfort, and you start realizing that rejection isn't the end of the world. It's just part of the process. Another crucial point to remember is that the people who truly matter will respect your authenticity, not your conformity. When you live for yourself and stop seeking approval, you'll find that the right people will be drawn to you. They will appreciate your courage, your independence, and your unique perspective. You'll build connections based on genuine understanding, not based on fitting into predefined molds. It's time to embrace rejection as a necessary step in your journey. Every time you face it, remember, you are on the path to living authentically, and that's worth more than any fleeting approval could ever offer. So, take the leap. Speak your truth. Follow your heart. The rejection you fear is nothing compared to the fulfillment you'll gain by living your life on your own terms. Section 4. Owning your journey. Have you ever looked at someone who seemed to have it all together? Someone who lives with purpose, clarity, and confidence, and thought to yourself, how do they do it? How do they navigate life without constantly worrying about what others think? The secret isn't some magical trait that they were born with. It's the simple yet powerful act of owning their journey. Owning your journey is about taking full responsibility for your life, your choices, and your actions. It's about refusing to be a passenger in your own life, instead choosing to be the driver. This means living with intentionality, understanding that you are the author of your story, and embracing the truth that your life's direction is in your hands. When you own your journey, you stop letting life happen to you. You take control, make decisions that align with your truth, and embrace the path that is uniquely yours. The power of ownership. There's an incredible power in realizing that you are responsible for the course of your life. This doesn't mean you have control over every situation. Life will throw unexpected challenges your way. But it does mean that you have control over how you respond to those challenges. When you take ownership, you stop playing the role of a victim. Instead, you become the creator of your own reality. You begin to take intentional action, make thoughtful decisions, and design the life that feels true to who you are. Taking ownership means stepping away from the habit of blaming circumstances, other people, or external events for where you are in life. Of course, things happen outside of our control. Bad things can occur, challenges arise, mistakes happen, and setbacks will come. But when you own your journey, you realize that no matter the external circumstances, you always have the power to decide what your next step will be. It's about recognizing that you have a choice. You can choose how you react to life's obstacles, how you move forward, and how you prioritize what matters most. You can choose to learn from failures, rise above them, and use them as stepping stones toward your goals. You can choose to pursue your dreams, even when others doubt you. You can choose to trust yourself, even when the world tells you to play it safe. It's this realization, the realization that you have the ability to make powerful choices, that is the key to owning your journey. No one else can walk this path for you. The only person who can create the life you desire is you. The beauty of this is that once you accept this truth, you start living with more confidence and less fear. Because when you know you control your journey, you stop letting doubt hold you back. Living authentically. Owning your journey also means living authentically. It means being true to who you really are, even if that goes against the grain of societal expectations or the opinions of others. It's easy to get caught up in what other people think or to mold yourself into the image of what you think others want you to be. But the moment you stop living for others is the moment you step into your true power. Living authentically is the heart of owning your journey. It's about unapologetically being yourself. The world will always try to tell you who you should be, what you should do, and how you should live. But when you choose to live authentically, you stop letting others define your worth or your purpose. You begin to make choices that align with your values, your passions, and your goals. You start asking yourself, what do I want for my life? What makes me feel alive? What aligns with my truth? And from that place of authenticity, you take bold steps toward the life that feels most fulfilling to you. Living authentically doesn't mean you have all the answers or that you'll always make the right choices. It means being open to growth, being vulnerable enough to follow your heart, and embracing the discomfort of going against the grain. It means accepting that not everyone will understand or agree with your choices, and that's okay. The only approval you need is your own. When you choose authenticity over approval, you create a life that is truly yours. The courage to stand alone. One of the hardest things about owning your journey is the courage to stand alone. Society often values conformity, fitting in, blending in, following the crowd. But when you decide to own your journey, you're going to face moments when you'll feel like you're standing apart from the crowd. This can be uncomfortable. It can feel isolating. You may worry that you'll lose friendships, disappoint family members, or face criticism. But this is where the real power of owning your journey lies. The ability to stand strong in your truth, even when you stand alone. The fear of rejection is one of the strongest forces that hold people back from living authentically. But here's the truth. You are not here to live for anyone else but yourself. No one else can walk your path. No one else can live your life for you. If you follow the crowd, if you live for others, you may end up living a life that is not yours. And that's the worst kind of rejection, to reject yourself in order to gain the approval of others. When you choose to live for yourself and walk your own path, you may experience rejection or judgment from others. But here's what you'll soon realize. Rejection isn't the end of the world. It's simply a part of the process. When you embrace the freedom of owning your journey, you'll find that rejection becomes less scary because you'll no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. The people who matter will respect your choices, even if they don't fully understand them. And those who don't, well, they're not meant to be part of your journey anyway. Embracing the journey, not the destination. Owning your journey means embracing the process, not just the outcome. We live in a world that constantly celebrates the destination, getting the job, winning the award, achieving success. But the true magic happens in the journey itself. It's in the learning, the growth, and the small wins that accumulate along the way. It's in the moments of doubt, the moments of failure, and the moments when you feel like giving up, because those moments are shaping you into the person you are meant to become. When you focus solely on the destination, you miss out on the richness of the journey. Life is about more than just checking off boxes and achieving goals. It's about the experience, the lessons learned, and the person you become along the way. So, when you own your journey, you allow yourself to enjoy every moment, every setback, every challenge, because you know that each step is part of your evolution, a life of fulfillment. The most beautiful aspect of owning your journey is the fulfillment that comes with it. When you live for yourself, when you follow your truth, and when you make decisions based on your own desires, you begin to experience a deep sense of contentment. No longer do you have to live in fear of others' opinions or live a life dictated by external expectations. You create a life that is rich with meaning, purpose, and authenticity. As you continue down the path of ownership, you'll realize that fulfillment doesn't come from the things you acquire or the accolades you receive. It comes from the knowledge that you are living a life that is true to who you are, and that every step you take is a reflection of your unique purpose. The final truth: you are the author of your story. The journey of owning your life is ongoing. It requires constant awareness, courage, and commitment. But it's a journey worth taking, because it's the one that leads to a life of fulfillment, joy, and peace. You are the author of your own story. No one else can write it for you. The beauty of life is that no matter where you are now, you have the power to turn the page and write the next chapter however you choose. So, let go of the fear of judgment. Let go of the need for external validation. Let go of the idea that you need permission to live your truth. You have everything you need within you. Own your journey today. The world is waiting for the unique story only you can write. You are the hero of your own journey. Take the next step.